Here's one for you. Do you know who this is? OK, fellow geeks, you need not answer. This is Steve Wozniak. He's worth over $100 million, which is no surprise. Before he retired to go and finish his degree, he invented the Apple computer. Steve Wozniak was the business partner of Steve Jobs. The two of them founded Apple. But this one, well, he hated the limelight. He headed off to the shed and invented things. So if you wonder where computers are taking us, he knows. I talked to him in Melbourne and was interested to know how he would describe himself.
I describe myself as at least a one-time brilliant engineer. If I'm a genius at anything, it's at making people think I'm a genius. I describe myself as a very nice person who cares an awful lot about people, and a gadgeteer who loves gadgets, but I only want devices that work nice, that are kind of like another human, a polite human, somebody that understands me, helps me get through my, work needs, and that's pretty much it.
There are lots of geniuses in the world. Why then were you successful?
Because I was a genius at a certain thing that at the certain point in time when I was going to build a computer, because of all my past experiences leading up to it step by step, I was going to build it for myself at that time. Just turned out to be, by coincidence, a time that was very valuable for the rest of the people in the world.
Is it true that when you developed the Apple II, you originally wanted to give away the technology?
The Apple I, I did give away. Steve Jobs was up in Oregon. He wasn't around when that was developed. With the Apple II, we both looked at each other and knew this was the real computer that was going to change the world. A lot of clever engineering ideas. Who would have ever imagined it was like going from black and white television to color television? Nobody would have ever imagined color, figuring out a way to do it affordably.
Was that then the match made in heaven? You're the engineering genius. He's the visionary marketeer.
Well, more than that, he's also able to understand the engineers from just some past background he had in electronics. He's able to ask enough questions until he does understand them. But he also looks at it from a point of view of it's got to make sense to an end user. It's got to be something a person would want. Engineering on its own isn't enough.
Whenever you read anything about Apple, people heap praise on your expertise. They do say you are a genius. But did you ever feel that you were left in the shadow of your partner?
I wanted to remain in the shadows. I wanted to be in engineer for the rest of my life. I never wanted to move up an org chart. So I got exactly what I wanted, and, I just wanted to be known as a good engineer.
So it was the perfect business marriage, if you like.
It was extremely perfect, because Steve had all the time and energy to hustle 1,000 different little things going on in different places that make a company run. He wanted to have a big company that made money because he saw that as the way to really impact the world. I wanted to just design cool stuff and write cool software my whole life, and I got to do that. And the two of us, it's like we were both so lucky for each other, and we grew up as friends.
Yes, you weren't just partners, you were friends. How did you react when you heard he'd died?
I was stunned at first, and it was, sometimes thinking back to conversations we had or hearing his voice on TV shows, I would, get a little bit of tears. We were kind of expecting it. He'd even spoken to me of it near the end, but it took it really hard. It's growing. The trouble is it actually grows in me. It gets almost worse every day.
Did it make you reconsider your own life?
No, because, no. My philosophies, personalities, like everybody, are pretty concrete from day one, and I don't really think about that stuff.
What you do think about, though, is where the technology is going. You're saying Apple is in fine shape. What is the future for computers? What are we going to see next?
Oh, well, I love technology, so I buy as many pieces and I read as many things as I can about what's being done in the world. And sometimes it's new materials being developed by chemists and physicists that might someday totally change our lives and give us far superior computers and the like. And now we're speaking to our phones, our cell phones, and it's like I feel so comfortable when I speak. I don't have to think out about a process, get every single structured step correct. I just say what's on my head, and very often I get answers nowadays. So I think the computers are going to become more like smart people that you carry around with you.
Is that a worry? Are we ceding too much power, too much control to the machine?
We're doing it for our own benefit, so that the machines will do the work and the thinking for us. So very often, yeah, a lot of things that we were taught in the past had value. Now the machines have it better than humans. Well, yeah, we devalue ourselves a little bit. We're building the machines so we're at least the gods someday. Well, the trouble is machines have to get a consciousness to fit all the stories that are in the movies and the books. Machines aren't going to have consciousness, feelings, especially human feelings, for a long time, decades at least.
Answer me one thing. Is the iPhone better than the Android?
Oh, the iPhone is better. That's my preference. Oh, absolutely. I can give you a lot of ways. Overall, it's better. That doesn't mean there aren't things the Android does that the iPhone doesn't do that I hope the iPhone does soon.
And we will keep seeing. I mean, is there any limit to where that can go?
It's difficult to say. Once they are like a human, your best friend that knows your inner soul and how to talk to you better than a human, there's also Moore's Law. How much computer can we pack in there, and how much can we program it to do?
What are you most proud of?
I'm really most proud of Apple, the company, having been so innovative, even in a big company structure, and finding the ways to make products that are really good, and not one is ever junky and unsatisfying.
Steve Wozniak there in Melbourne. For a guy who likes to remain in the shadows, you could listen to him all day. In fact, if you want to listen to him all day, check out our website. He's in Auckland next week for a one-off all-day event.